With a crazy F1 season coming to an end, I thought why not see which driver would be each Premier League team. In this crazy comparison, let's find out. Lewis Hamilton is a man who's changing F1. He breaks records on a weekly basis and wins more often than people have hot meals. Lewis, like Liverpool, isn't just good for one season but have a history and are still challenging at the top. Both of them have won the biggest trophies in their sports, and this season when things go wrong, like an injury list the size of Everest, or in Lewis's case, tyres bursting on the last lap, they still seem to find a way to win. Valtteri Bottas is a world-class driver and drives the best car on the circuit. Man City have arguably the best squad in the Premier League, maybe even the world. Bottas has been very strong in the last 2 seasons and would have won the World Championship had it not been for a certain Lewis Hamilton. City have the same problem. They've done their all in the last few seasons to try and keep Liverpool out, but recently the Reds have just been too good, and without Liverpool in the league they definitely would have won the league last season, and not having to battle so much in the league may have even won them the Champions League. Max Verstappen is the big up-and-coming F1 driver in the world, and so far he's always come close but never been quite there. In recent years this has been Tottenham's problem. They've come second in the league, they've reached a Champions League final, and this season they look like real title contenders. Tottenham are getting there, but they just can't keep pace with the big boys over a whole season, and this is the same for Max. One of the races he can outshine the Mercedes pair, but over a season him and his car just don't have enough. But both Max and Tottenham have a very bright future ahead of them. I'm going all North London for Red Bull. On paper, Alex Albon and Arsenal look good, and over the last year they have pulled some great results, like the FA Cup or Albon's 2 podiums. However, they both haven't lived up to the expectations of the fans. Albon was always going to find it difficult, especially with the guy he replaced at Red Bull performing superbly for Red Bull number 2, AlphaTauris. Arsenal are in a time of transition and the 2 trophies haven't helped them. Like Albon, they are now under massive scrutiny. The false dawn hasn't helped either of them. I believe Albon still has a great F1 career ahead of him, maybe even a world title. I also believe that Arsenal under Arteta can go somewhere, but both of them need to be given time, but I'm not sure they will be, especially now Albon's lost his seat for next year. Carlos Sainz Jr. is really starting to show his class in the F1 world. He's also a driver who's looking to invest in his future and try to put himself in the best position to win a world title. His move to Ferrari for the 2021 season seemed like a great deal and still could be, but Ferrari need to turn their form right around. Chelsea, like Carlos Sainz, are a team who are aiming to get to the top again and have invested heavily into their future to give themselves the best chances. Their big over £200 million spending in the summer was a real intent of that. Both Carlos Sainz and Chelsea exceeded 2020 expectations and will hope to build on that. 21-year-old Lando Norris is still a relatively new driver to the F1 world, but out of the rookies that came up the year he came up, he's certainly been the most consistent driver. Lando is making more and more points as to why one day, very soon, he'll be up there with the big boys, a bit like Wolves. You remember Wolves haven't been back in the Premier League for very long, but are definitely a team no one wants to face. They've already made it into the B-tier European Championship and every year look to be building a better, more established team. Both Lando and Wolves will be fighting for titles in a few years if things go to plan. It's unbelievable to think Sergio might have been out of a seat for next season until Red Bull came in and saved the day. This is a guy who is so consistent and a top driver. Up until this season it was hard to see as he'd never been in a car that could keep up with the big boys, but this season he really proved it as he won his first ever race. Leicester on the other hand really did struggle after winning the title in 2016. Big departures like Mahrez and Kante really hurt the side and they fell back. But under Rodgers the team has again proved that they are up to the task and look like a really solid fit and will fight with the likes of Liverpool, Tottenham and Man City. Lance Stroll is a solid driver, however he's more well known for his dad owning the team. Everton are a solid team who over the years have tried to spend big to keep up with the big boys. Both Lance Stroll and Everton will come up with some big results, but in the end they will not be good enough for the top lot and they'll be too good to be in the bottom lot. Daniel Ricciardo is definitely in a time of transition and has been ever since his glory days of Red Bull. Man United mirror this as they have been in a transition stage since Sir Alex Ferguson left the club. Daniel moved to Renault hoping their big 5-year plan would work. Unfortunately for him, it hasn't. He has though gotten some great results, including a couple of podiums. Man U have tried a few managers since Sir Alex left and nothing has really worked the way it hoped. They have had a few trophies, but it's not really what Man United want. Both Ricciardo and Man U are in transition with the hope that next season they'll be back fighting nearer the top. Esteban Ocon has been a bit of a surprise this year and managed to gain his first podium. His performances over the year have gotten better and made him much more of a solid midfield driver. Leeds since promotion have been a surprise package of the new three and have put in some great performances so far. Both Leeds and Esteban Ocon are new in the top tier but are both proven they are going to do well. Charles Leclerc has had a pretty good season despite having to drive the worst Ferrari in years and one of the worst cars on the grid this season. He's managed to do well with the resources at hand and proves why he could be a top driver in the future. West Ham are a team who don't have the best players, have a manager who since leaving Everton has struggled with every job, but all these setbacks are seeming to give them a solid season. Sebastian Vettel has had a torrid final season for Ferrari, with the car just not performing and him not being able to get the best out of it. The pace in qualifying and the race was just off, and has been his worst F1 season since 2007. Burnley are a team who are struggling. They're not finding the net enough, they're conceding too many goals and are having one of their worst seasons they've had in many years. Pierre Gasly, since being dropped by Red Bull to their second team AlphaTauri, has gone from strength to strength. He has even managed to win a Grand Prix. He has dragged his team from a bottom tier side to one fighting for the spots in the midfield. Southampton, since their 9-0 thrashing last year by Leicester, have really turned things around and now look like a solid team. They've gained some good momentum this season and could be the surprise package and fight for a spot in Europe. Both Southampton and Gasly's future look to be going in the right direction. Kvyat has been a solid driver through the years who's had his highs and lows but wasn't really driving for much. Palace are a side who are solid but are also a team who's kind of just there, not really fighting for much. Kimi Raikkonen is the most experienced driver on the grid. He is a driver who allows others to thrive by giving them more room thanks to his skill and years of experience. He does the best he can with the car he's given, but his glory days are definitely over. However, you know he's not going to be at the very bottom by the end of the year. Newcastle are a team whose glory days have gone away and their fans know that. However, they are a team who won't be relegated but can give a solid game to any team. Antonio Giovinazzi is still a relatively new driver to F1. However, he is putting in solid performances in a car that was always going to be near the bottom. He's proven he can keep up with the experience and actually won the head-to-head qualifying over his teammate. Fulham are new boys to the Prem again and are doing the best they can with the squad they've got. They've definitely been getting better and recently have shown they can keep up and play with the big teams, with the recent 1-1 draw with Liverpool proving that. They will end up somewhere near the bottom though. Romain Grosjean has been a driver who over the years has been so unpredictable but has usually ended up nearer the bottom of the league. Brighton are a team who at times can be great and other times completely shocking. You never really know what you're going to get with them. Overall, both Grosjean and Brighton will have seasons expected of them ending nearer the bottom. Kevin Magnussen and Haas have a very similar story to Sheffield. They've appeared as this new team who've got points and did really well, and then it went downhill on later seasons, with Magnussen and Haas struggling for points in a car that was just generally terrible on race day and in qualifying. Sheffield this season have been awful, picking up only 1 point in their first 13 games. It's looking like Sheffield will finish the season the same way Magnussen did, down the bottom. George Russell is a big and upcoming talent in the F1 world. However, he has never really had the equipment to race to get the point. However, due to Lewis's COVID, George got a chance to show his capabilities and oh boy did he. And if it wasn't for a tremendous cock-up from the pit crew, he would have won the race. Aston Villa have been struggling since their return to the Prem and most people would have had them down as relegation contenders. However, Jack Grealish this season has been given the equivalent of a better car in Ollie Watkins, and they're proven they can kick it with the big boys. They've even beaten the current champions Liverpool 7-2. 7-2. If George can get into a better car and Aston Villa can put better players around Jack Grealish, the future could be very bright for the both of them. Nicholas Latifi was driving the worst car on the grid, couldn't keep up with his teammate, probably could do better in a better car. West Brom are the new boys to the league, people aren't expecting much, they don't have a great squad. You just know both were going to end up near the bottom. And that's it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, and why not share this video on social media. Tell us what you thought of our list in the comment section down below. If you're new to the channel, why not hit that subscribe button for more football videos every week. If you're subscribed and mint like that, make sure you click that bell button so you don't miss any new videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon with another video. Alongside my speed.